One of the things that I've learned over the years in my marketing journey is that when you really clearly understand who you're selling to and you get beyond the demographics of who they are, their age, their gender, their location, and you get beyond those superficial things, their job title, their income, their social status. When you get past those things, you find the real magic of marketing. Just 2 days ago, I was talking to one of our clients at the agency who is an attorney, and she's an estate planning attorney. She also, unfortunately, has to handle a lot of probate cases where someone dies without a will and they own real estate they have bank accounts and then their family can't get into them and all of those things. And so probate's a very challenging situation. Well, we've applied this 5-step model, this playbook to her business. And what was really interesting was she was a little resistant at the beginning because it's not how lawyers have typically built their business. And so we do all of the things, but here was the thing that was the breakthrough for her after just 3 months of applying our playbook in the manner that we have described it to her. And she said to me, Darrell, I got a case the other day, and the guy said that he'd listened to all of my YouTube videos. Now, in our process, in anything online, you have to have content. And we weren't focusing on her YouTube channel. We were actually focusing on Facebook. But because we repurposed the content to YouTube, one of these customers came in and signed up for her firm. And she said, Darrell, I didn't even have to do my spiel. And I said, how did that feel? And she said, it was odd. Because in 18 years, she'd always had to earn the sale. And what was interesting is what we're talking about here is when we really understand what's important about our customers' problems and pains, and we understand their motivations, their thoughts, and their behaviors, and then our messaging, our content, our posts, our ads, our videos line up to that, the people feel like you're literally in their head. That is what happens when you really understand your customers. And what a lot of people do when they are marketing is they don't honor this step. They want to get to the Facebook ad. They want to get to the social media post. They want to get to the coupon on the e-commerce site. They want to get to blasting out emails. And in our agency, we spend an inordinate amount of time focused on how our customer thinks about the problem we can solve or problems we can solve. A buyer persona acknowledges that every person has a different thought process that drives them to look for a solution and ultimately triggers them to buy. It allows you as a marketer, as I've said, to connect with that audience on an emotional level and create a customer experience that provides the consumer with the information they want. I'm often saying that when someone comes into your world, they have a need that they want to solve. And in the bigger, broader sense of marketing, we call it the stages of awareness. The stages of awareness. If you've got a pen handy, let's give you those 5 stages really quick, because your marketing has to match all 5 of these stages. Really quickly, I'll say them for you really fast. Stage number 1 is someone's running around in life and they are unaware that they're about to have a problem that you can solve. They're just unaware. Someone, unfortunately, is going to get in a car accident today and they're unaware they even need a personal injury attorney tomorrow. Lord knows we don't want to see that happen. But they're unaware, stage 1. Stage 2 is they're problem aware or they're pain aware. I woke up and I've got a headache for this 7th day in a row. I am problem aware. I don't have a headache, you guys. But the point is, for the 7th day in a row, I've got a headache. I am now problem aware. But it doesn't mean I need a chiropractor. It doesn't necessarily mean I need brain surgery, but I have now a problem. So I'm problem or pain aware. Step 3 is once I realize that that problem has driven me to a point where I want to seek a solution. And by the way, Heather McGrail is in the room and she owns a winery. So, it's not necessarily a problem as much as it could be an interest or a desire. So it's not a problem or a pain that They don't have wine, although Heather, maybe that's the case. But, you know, I don't want you to get stuck on the word problem or pain. But I used to make jokes like when Kim Kardashian and Kanye were married. I'm not a follower of any of that, but I did know that they were married. And I said, even if I wanted to Google what was going on in Kim and Kanye's life, that is a entertaining problem that I wanted to solve. I'm a sports fan. If I Google what the game score is between the Rams and the Cowboys, which by the way, we got murdered this we got murdered by the Cowboys. My wife's a Cowboy fan, and we were there at the game, and I had to deal with that. But anyway, stage 3 is solution aware. Stage 3 is solution aware, which means I went from unaware to problem aware, and now I'm going on the journey to find potential solutions to my problem. Stage 4 is the one that everyone likes to start their marketing at, which is where the problem falls. And that is what we call your product or solution aware, which means now they become aware of your product, right? When we think about step 2 in the module, which we'll get to next, we think, let's just drive traffic to our product, but we haven't necessarily honored their pain or their problem. Or what I like to say is, we haven't met them where they are. Okay. So unaware, problem aware, solution aware, your product aware, and then decision aware. Decision, step 5, decision aware, decision aware. So I know many of you have been in business a long time. And if some of you are just getting started, you understand this, but you can have a problem and still not want to solve it. And it's fascinating. I was talking to a customer, one of our clients, and they're like, we believe that everybody in this situation needs their product or service. And I said, that is an absolute terrible thing to believe, because everyone who could use it doesn't necessarily have to have it, right? If I have a headache for 7 days in a row and I've got ibuprofen under the cabinet or Tylenol under the cabinet, I don't have to take it. I don't have to. And I know I'm making this kind of simple and elementary, but I find that I have to simplify some of this out of context so that we can all kind of back up away from sometimes our zest and our zeal to make it seem like our customers have to buy what we're selling. Like, I've been in an agency business. I've been an agency owner now for 13 years. Every business does not need an agency. In fact, the statistics will tell you that only about 4 or 5% of any small business on the planet will ever even hire a company like mine. So if I walked around believing that just because we're good, just because we've been successful, just because we've helped these companies grow, that every person who comes into my world needs my agency, I'm asking myself for a setup for disappointment. Okay. So I just wanted to cover those 5 areas, but back to this idea of the buyer persona. The idea is that we really want to understand what's going on with that customer. This on the screen is what I literally build every buyer persona thinking around. It's a simple document called an empathy map canvas. I didn't create it. It was created by a company called Xplane. And I came across this document probably in 2004 or 5 or 3. And ever since then, I don't start a campaign with almost anyone unless I clearly have mapped this out in my mind as a marketer. What is going on with them? What is their goal? What are they chasing? What are they after? What is their real desire? Why do they want that desire? Is there a need to do something? On the right-hand side, what do they see out there outside of my offer? What do they see as potential solutions to that? What do they say with their mouth? And how do they actually act? Like, what are the psychographics? These are what we call the psychographics of your customer. And then what are they hearing? What else are they hearing about solving and ways to solve this problem? And then in the center of it all are what I really call the triggering events or the triggering motivators. And that is, what are they afraid of if they actually take the action to buy this thing or solve this problem? What are they afraid of? What are their frustrations? What are their anxieties? More importantly, what do they gain by actually taking that step? So it's very interesting that I first learned it by a psychologist by the name of Sigmund Freud when I was in college. And he talked about the pain pleasure principle. And that is the most of us as humans will take action to avoid a pain or a problem more than we will take action to move towards something we really want. In other words, it's like the carrot and the stick scenario when you think about uh, in the horse industry, right? Carrots go in front of the horse's mouth because the horse would be hungry and want to move towards it, or they use the stick to get the horse to move. I call it the pain, Sigmund Freud calls it pain pleasure. I like to call it vitamin painkiller as well. Whatever vernacular you use, we're trying to really understand where does all of this fit in? Well, it used to take hours and hours and hours to go research reviews online and interview your customers and do focus groups. I mean, some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Like most of the people in this room have been in business for a while. Does everyone here know what a focus group is? Does everyone know what it takes how long it takes to interview people to get their opinion about how they felt about a product or a service? And when you think about what we can do today with ChatGPT, we can reverse engineer an empathy map about our customer or our potential customers in seconds. I want you to refer to your worksheets. Everybody ready to do some work? Let's do our first exercise. All right. Everyone's got ChatGPT open, I'm assuming. So we're going to go to the buyer persona section. Just from I'm going to stay on the screen. You guys have ChatGPT on your side for a second. Here's what I want to do. Does everyone here have a buyer persona, at least one? What I want you to do over the next 5 minutes is I want you to consider these potential exercises to think about. And by the way, I had to just pick some generalized exercises that might be applicable to everyone in the room. And if you've already done something like this with ChatGPT, just keep playing along because ChatGPT gets smarter the more that you use it. So one of the exercises you can do is to try to really understand who your primary customer is, assuming you may not know who they are today, is just write down some of the characteristics. Go to ChatGPT and write down some of those characteristics and basically give it a prompt that says, based on a customer who is blah, 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 what are their primary needs or interests? Now, I want to give you a quick caveat. As you look at each of these prompts, we have put in very basic prompts, but I will also make sure you understand and want to convey that the more detail you give ChatGPT about your business, about what you sell, about who you sell it to, even dynamics around your market, the more you're going to get out. So just be very mindful of your 0 to 1. And then have ChatGPT analyze and give you some input. This is exercise 1. You can choose any one of these or do all 3 if you're really fast. Encourage you to do all 3. Yep. Another way to go into it is to go deeper into the pain points. Now, listen, I've been doing marketing for 13 years at the agency where we sell to businesses who want agency support. And what that typically means is they want to do what they do best and they want us to do what we do best. And they then arbitrage our fee for growth, meaning they pay us X and we help them grow to Y, Z, or A, B, and C. That being said, I have spent the last 6 months continuously going back into ChatGPT and refining and updating how my buyer thinks today in all of the new things, all of the new technology, all of the new things with AI, all the changes with Facebook, all the changes going on in technologically. So here we go. So you can think of one product or service you offer. So for example, Mike is in the mortgage lending industry. He might choose a specific problem, not just mortgage. Michael might think what's going on in the mind of a first-time home buyer. Maybe he's looking at FHA loans. Heather has an award-winning wine. At least I think it's still award-winning. She may have an award-winning red wine from her region, and maybe she's trying to tap into what people are thinking about there. Lennox is the owner, I believe, I don't want to call the name of the agency, but I want to say it was Farmers. I apologize if I'm wrong. But what's going on right now with car drivers and things like that. So think about one of your products or services and ask ChatGPT, what are some of the top challenges that people are facing related to that product or service, and look at your feedback there. And then getting a little bit more advanced, and that is journey mapping. We call it journey mapping, but it's really looking at how someone might go about making a purchase decision. You can, of course, pick a pain point that you've identified. For example, in my world, one of the biggest pain points in my world when someone comes to the agency is they've bought into the idea that they've got to have a very holistic digital marketing campaign across multiple channels. But what they say most often after they say that they don't have a clear strategy is they say, oh, now that I understand what we have to do, there's too many things to do and I don't have enough time to do it. Those are the exact words in some way, shape, or form that come out as one of the biggest pain points for people that hire the agency. So I might put that in here, but pick one of the pain points that you've identified and then ask ChatGPT to describe that typical journey as it relates to someone trying to search for that solution. Hit the subscribe button so you can become a part of the MindShift community. We'll help you shift your mind so you can shift your results.